Hi everybody, this is Dorit from Build a Better You Yoga. Today I'm going to be doing a sequence for those days where you're feeling tension or a moderate pain in your lower back. So I've been suffering for probably 30-40 years now with lower back issues. They come back once in a while whenever I'm feeling tension in the body. That's where my tension does tend to accumulate. And the last few days I've been doing my stretches regularly, and I thought that I would show you guys some of my very favorite stretches for lower back issues. I will start off by saying that lower back issues are different for everyone, so it's good to know what your issue is. Hopefully you've had it looked into, diagnosed. These are gentle stretches that I'm encouraging you to follow along and try with me. Make sure, as always, that every stretch, every pose, every posture feels good in your body, and if not, please modify. We're going to start on our back today. So very often, I like to start by hugging my knees in, close to the chest, relaxing the shoulders, and just feeling my lower back settle on the floor. Sometimes I'll just rock side to side gently. Make sure that as you're hugging your knees in, you're not cramping your fingers, you're not applying too much pressure. Just make this feel comfortable so that your lower back feels supported in the earth here. And then place your feet on the floor, and you can just have your knees rest upon one another if that feels comfortable, so that there's no effort in the lower part of the body. And the feet could be a little wider, so mat width apart, and let your feet just rest and let your body settle. Take a moment and let your arms come by your sides. Take a few deep breaths. Check in, even here while you're lying down, are your shoulders creeping up close to your ears? So can you make any adjustments so that your shoulders come away from the ears? If you're comfortable, let the palms face up. And just see if this is a comfortable position for your lower back. For many people, a back extension is not healthy or comfortable, so you want to make sure that your lower back is not lifting up and off the floor. If it is, make any adjustments with your legs, with the positioning of your feet, to make sure that your lower back feels supported in the earth right here. And it's important to take a few moments to just settle the body and settle the quality of the thoughts in your minds, and start to just gain a little bit of composure in the mind, because very often what I have found is that tension in the mind is transmitted directly into tension in the body, and we all carry our issues in our tissues, as they say. So if you can release a little bit of the tension in your mind, come into the present moment, let go of the stories, the thoughts, the emotions that we carry with us all day long, for way too long, you will find that the body will slowly begin to soften and to allow a nice gentle ease into the body. This is only done with intentional breathing and intentional letting go. So we take a few moments at the beginning just to notice the state of our mind, the quality of our thoughts, and see if we can settle ourselves with our breath, taking a few deep breaths in and letting go through the mouth, seeing if the whole body can soften. So very often, at least for me, when I take the tension out of the mind and I allow the body to just soften, right away I get a little bit of a release in that lower back. And then we'll go into a couple of postures together. So we'll start with the knees hip width apart and the feet hip width apart. And we're going to do a threading of the needle, or a figure four, or a pigeon, whatever you'd like to call it. We'll cross the right ankle, the right foot, over the left knee, and very gently bring your hands through that number 4 and grab onto the back of your left upper thigh. And then relax your shoulders. It doesn't matter how high or how low you're holding on. Relax your shoulders. If you're already feeling a big stretch in that right hip, then stay where you are. If you're not feeling anything, it's likely because your left knee is creeping over the middle part of your body or right above the groin, and you want to bring the left knee above the left hip. Move very slowly and gently, millimeter by millimeter. When you bring the knee above your left hip, you'll get a nice stretch in the right outer thigh, glutes. Very often tension in the back can also be because you have tightness in your glutes or in your hips. They're all closely interconnected, so you want to create space in your hip here. Stretch the outer part of your glute, piriformis muscle as well. Invite the left knee to come in as close to you as you can, as close as is comfortable. Just for a nice juicy stretch. Remember to breathe. And then slowly, when you're ready, bring the left foot back down to the floor. Uncross the legs, bring your hands back next to your hips, and cross the legs. Let the feet and the knees be mat width apart, and very gently, seeing if this rotation, if this twist feels good in your body, take an inhale with your knees up to the center, and exhale over to one side. And your knees do not have to touch the floor. Let your upper body relax, both shoulders are on the floor. As you inhale, come back into center, and exhaling over to the other side. Those of you that have practiced with me before, we're just doing a nice, gentle, slow windshield wiper movement. If you've never done this before, I'm encouraging you, inviting you to do this with the pace of your breath. Inhaling, knees pointing to the center, and slowly exhaling, letting your knees drop. Don't expect or force them to go down towards the ground. Wherever they stop is just fine. Do what feels good in your body, inhaling into the center. Just one more time, exhaling over to the opposite side. Relax your upper back. Making sure that these twists and these rotations feel good in your body. Otherwise, try one or two and then stop. Always come out of the posture if it doesn't feel good. Let's hug those knees in one more time. You can make some little circles with your knees. I like to check in with the sacrum, which is the large bone above your tailbone. And I like to feel that that sacrum is flat and connected into the earth as I do these little circles. I feel a nice solid grounding when my sacrum is flat on the floor. If it feels good, and some of you know Happy Baby, we grab between the knees, we grab the ankles, and we press the feet up towards the ceiling. For those of you that have practiced before, you can grab the big toes, you can grab the outsides of your feet, anything that's comfortable. And again, this just serves to kind of settle the whole back body into the earth. If any of the postures don't feel good to you, just come out of the posture and breathe. Again, softening the mind, softening the body, giving yourself permission to let go will already do wonders for your lower back. Let's come out of Happy Baby back onto the floor. And in our own way, I'll invite you to just roll to the side. It's really important how you move the transition from one position to another. Roll to the side. If you're rolling to the right side, use your left hand to help press you up. We'll stop in a seated position just for a moment. So if you're comfortable with your legs crossed, great. If not, leave them out in front of you. And I'm just encouraging you to lift your heart and feel the crown of the head above the neck, cervical spine straight all the way down to the tailbone, down to the sit bones. And just feel like you're creating proper alignment. This is going to require some work in your core, lifting of the rib cage and relaxing down and away of the shoulders. Just find spaciousness in your spine. And you may find this easier in the next posture where we roll over onto our hands and knees and just settle in a child's pose. If you have a block, grab a block with you. If not, feel free to take a big book. You can take a thick or a hard pillow, just so that it's supportive. Bring it underneath your forehead. Separate your knees wide. And just let your shoulders relax. So for some, sitting back will be a little bit too much in terms of your hips, in terms of the knees. You might feel a pull in your quads here, your upper thighs. You can always take a pillow. I'm going to grab a pillow here and place a pillow in between the upper thigh and the leg on both sides. And so you don't have to reach as far back. And what you're trying to do is just relax the whole upper body. And as your hips release towards the back of the room, and it doesn't mean that your hips have to touch your heels by any means. Every exhale creates a little bit of space in the spine. Every exhale, you allow the hips to just release towards the back of the room. If you're comfortable enough to bring your head down to the floor, you can also extend the arms out. Make sure that this is a posture that you can be comfortable in. So if this is not comfortable for you, bring the hands closer to you. And just see if you can allow the hips to settle. And when I'm in child's pose, I feel like my tailbone is pulling towards the back of the mat. And as I breathe, I feel myself creating space in this lower back area. Now this is a practice that takes a little bit of time. So as you're breathing, as opposed to feeling the breath in the belly, I'm inviting you to direct the breath into your lower back. So as you breathe, feel your lower back rising, expanding. And as you exhale, feel your lower back falling towards the mat and contracting. Again, with the inhale, invite the energy, the breath into your lower back. Expansion in the rib cage. And then as you exhale, feel the contraction in the rib cage. Feel your spine as it settles towards the earth. Take a couple more breaths. Again, with the intention of filling the lower back with energy, with air, and with spaciousness. Where there is space, there can be no tension. If being in this wide-legged child's pose is not good for you, you can also try the same posture, but instead of having the knees wide apart and coming down towards the floor, you can have your knees together. And then coming down towards the floor again, you can bring your forehead to a block or a pillow. And once again, relaxing the whole upper body as the back of the body releases in towards the floor. That invitation is always there to bring a pillow between the backs of your upper thighs and your heels so that you're not sitting back into a place of pain or discomfort. And then after you've sat comfortably and invited the energy and the breath to fill your lower back, creating a little more space in the lower back, releasing tension with those long exhales. You can come back up onto all fours, hands and knees. And one of my favorites is always the cat and the cow. So again, working at your own pace. The knees are hip width apart. Your hands, or better said your wrists, are directly underneath your shoulders. You don't want to let the head fall. The head is heavy and it'll pull on your neck. So I want you to imagine that I'm pulling the crown of your head forward. And so your neck, your cervical spine, is in line with the rest of your spine. Relax your shoulders away from the ears. Bring your heart forward, look up slightly. Tailbone presses up towards the ceiling and the belly drops. Just watch a couple and then join in if you've never done this. As you exhale, chin to chest, press your hands into the earth. Tailbone presses down towards the earth and the belly button up towards the sky as I round my back. To me, this is one of the most magical postures I can do. Inhaling encourages full breathing in, belly drops, heart forward. Exhaling, I round the back, chin to the chest, use my hands to press into the earth and get as much of a lift and a rounded back as you can. Again, start the movement from the tailbone. Inhale, tailbone presses up, belly will naturally drop. As you exhale, press into the earth, chin to chest, rounded back towards the ceiling, navel to spine, squeeze the belly button in towards your back. As you inhale, we relax the shoulders here. As we exhale, pelvic tilt, navel to spine, chin to chest, press into the earth, rounded back. This is your scared cat back. Inhaling into cow, belly drops. This is the cat and the cow. And exhale into scared cat. Round the back, press into the earth, chin to chest. And then do this at your own pace till it feels good. Extension as you look forward and flexion, rounding. And take every movement nice and slowly and see how each one feels and how deep you want to go into each one. You may not want to press all the way up and towards the ceiling because that might cause a discomfort in your body. By all means, always listen to your body first. And then to create a little bit more space in the hips. So sometimes again, lower back issues come from tension in the hips or the outer glutes or the glutes. You can start to do some nice hip circles. In order to do this, you don't have to sit back. You can keep your hips right above the knees and just start to do some nice hip circles, letting the hips go to the right and then to the left. And if you wish, you can sit back. The idea is just to get into those tight areas where you feel like you're really getting into the tension and creating a little fluidity. Change directions now. Again, you can keep your hips, I'm going to demonstrate here, right above your knees and just go side to side. You don't have to sit back at all. And very often I will end once again in a child's pose. For me, this is a very comfortable posture. I extend my arms out. You can bring a support underneath your forehead if the forehead doesn't reach the floor. Again, in my body, this creates space. See how it feels in your body. As you breathe, see if you can feel expansion in the right and the left rib cage. And as you exhale, see if you can feel the tailbone pulling towards the back of the room. You're not applying any pressure, you're not forcing anything, you're just allowing things to settle. Again, inhaling, creating space, right and left rib cage. And as you exhale, allowing the hips to settle, length in the whole spine. Your arms can always be by your side, closer to your head if you prefer to do a less active child's pose. I will remind all of you, just as I did when we first started, that every body is different. Everyone's back issue is different. I am personally convinced that although some people do have structural issues and certain problems that they need specific help with, I'm a firm believer that a lot of the tension that we hold in our bodies goes to a specific part of our body. And if, like me, you hold your tension in your lower back, then very often taking some time to just slow down the movement, slow down the breath, and do some gentle extensions, flexions, breathing consciously into your lower back, all of those things can help. So by all means, try it out.
and let me know your experience. I hope that this practice serves you, and just let me know. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.